In this demo we're going to see how to use the WebCenter resource catalog for runtime creation of pages and adding content. So we're going to start with a portal application, so WebCenter portal application, and in this application we're going to create a simple ADF task flow. So this is going to be a depth search task flow, for example, and again this can be any type of bounded task flow that you need to. In our case we're going to do a very simple one with just one view component, okay, so basically one page or a page fragment, and you're developing it just like you would do with any normal ADF application. There's nothing special that you need to do here, and that's kind of the nice magic. It's basically WebCenter allows you to take any task flow that you developed with ADF and use it in the same way. Okay, so you're going to open the page, you're going to take, for example, the department view and bring it into the page. So we want to create kind of a search page for departments. We're going to take the named criteria, drop it as a query panel with a table, and that would basically be our new page. Right, so we can save it, and now that we've created our task flow, we're going to add it to the resource catalog of Portal. So we can close all the tabs here, and then if you go into your Portal project, okay, underneath the Web Content Oracle Web Center section you would see the catalog, and if you double click the default catalog you can see the existing catalog, and we are going to add a new folder to it. Okay, we can rename this folder, so let's maximize this tab to have an easier access here and just give it a more meaningful name. So that's the title property. We can call it reusable applications, for example, in our case. Now that you have a new folder in here, you can start adding things to the folder. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the task flow that we just created. Okay, so the department search task flow, and you add it simply by dragging and dropping it in there. So in this project I actually have a few other task flows that I've created before, and I can now add those to the same folder. And again, you can play around with the structure of the resource catalog. You can create folders and subfolders and position things anywhere you want to make it more meaningful. Okay, so you don't need to have all your task flows in one folder. You can break them by functionality, for example. Okay, so we are going to have like 4 task flows in our folder. So one more step that you need to do is you need to actually make sure that you have the right security permission for each one of the task flows. So you're going to go into the application security, into resource grants, and you're going to make sure that each of the task flows that you want to use have a permission for someone to execute it. Okay, so for example, let's take our department search, and we're going to add a new application role, and what we're going to use is one of the roles that comes built in, which is the authenticated role, basically meaning that someone needs to log in before we can actually access and invoke this department search. Okay, but once someone logs into the system, he can basically work with this task flow. Then we're going to run the portal project, and we get our page in this scenario, and we're going to log in first as a user who's actually a user that has administration role for the portal application. And therefore this user has the administration option. So he can click that option and go into the WebCenter portal administration console. And one option here is to create a new page. Okay, you can give this page a name, and you can also choose a layout for the page. Okay, so we're going to choose a simple 2-part layout and create the new page. What you want to probably do now is make sure that this page is part of your menu. So we're going to click the Show Page option, And then you can go over and edit the page. And when you go into the edit mode, what you're actually going to do is you're actually going to now construct the page. Okay, you're going to add content to the page. So we're going to click the add content, and we'll get our default resource catalog, including the folder that we created. So we can go into this folder, see the 4 task lists that we added, and we can basically add each one of them. Okay. So again, those task lists are task lists that you can modify, so the name doesn't need to be the same name as the actual task list file. Okay, you probably want to give it a more meaningful name, and you do it again in the resource catalog. Once you added those components to the page, you can reposition them, so you can move them around, place them wherever you want to. Now remember, this whole process of now creating the page, layouting the component, adding the content is done at runtime by an end user. Okay, so you as a developer, you build the components that the end user can then add to his page. Okay. Once you click close, the page is now a normal page in your application, and any user can now come in and access this page. Okay. By the way, you don't have to create a new page. You can actually assign an area on existing page to do the same functionality. So in the home page of the portal application, if you click Ctrl Shift and E, you will get the same menu. Okay, so this is a smart shortcut, and you still get access to the resource catalog. Let's see another thing that you can add from the resource catalog, for example, some HTML component. Let's just add a text component into this page. Okay, and then go up again and pick again one of the portlets that we created. And you can basically have a page or a part of your page that allows people to modify the content. So users don't have to create pages, they can actually take existing pages and modify them. So in our case, we added a text item. We can now go into an editing mode and edit the actual text item to have, for example, some title that we want to format it. And as you can see, this is basically the ADF Faces Rich text editor being used here. And then we can close the editing part, and this is how the page would look like, and we can click close. Okay, so this is now again our home page done a little differently. Let's log out for a second. Okay, and now we're going to see what happens if you come into the application, okay, as a non-authenticated user. Okay, so you see the home page, and when you go to the new page that was created, you can only see one of the task flows, and that's because the other task flows actually require you to be authenticated. So that's the security at work.